Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly episode of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Alex Hong. Alex, I'm back. I am back from Hawaii and Japan. It was super awesome. I came back to Washington. The first thing I did was I went to Washington Native Costco. Yeah, it's called Kirkland Signature. It's from Washington State. I love it. And I got this super awesome shirt. It was like $10. It was awesome. Getting ready for that Ichiro jersey night that we're gonna go to. Alex, how are we doing?
Yeah, hey Julian. So both of us are going to go to that game against the Rays where they are giving the jersey. So hopefully Julian and I can both get the jersey and pick it up because that would be really nice, of course. And yeah, I've been doing pretty well. I didn't do anything too special today, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're back. We're both in our usual, homes and layout. I mean, I know you've been all over the place and have different backgrounds all the time. I've been mostly consistent somewhat, I suppose. So yeah, it's good to be back and normal.
Yeah. And you know what? You've got your Seahawks shirt going. I've got my Mariners shirt going. We're like the ultimate representation of Seattle sports over here. But yeah, I am super happy. And speaking of happy, I've got to say, the Mariners traded for the two best bats that were traded at the deadline, and I could not be more stoked. We were talking about more players like Stephen Kwan and players like that where they can bolster our lineup a little bit more. But Stephen Kwan didn't get traded in the trade deadline. You know what? Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor, those are the two best bats traded at the deadline. And then we got Caleb Ferguson as well. So, Alex, how do we feel about this trade deadline? I just feel like like we got meaningfully better in this trade deadline than we were before it.
Yeah, Julian, I completely agree. I mean, our lineup is a lot more consistent now. I mean, what we were doing before the trade deadline was running a ton of platoons. Like we ran the platoon on the right field, we ran the platoon in first base. I mean, we were just having inconsistencies all the time. But now the lineup is a lot more stable. Josh Naylor, he's out there playing first base every day. Suarez, he's also playing third base every day, so now this causes less confusion, or not confusion, but like the lineup's a lot more predictable, and yeah, I feel like everyone has their role now, like established role. So in right field, we've actually let Canzone hit against lefties as well, with well, although a small sample size, he has had some success. So hopefully Canzone can keep that up, so we can have him play right field every single day, because that would we had that initial talk of should we get a right fielder, should we get another outfielder, and that was because we were concerned that Canzone can't hit against lefties. But if Canzone can't hit against lefties, considering how well he has been playing this year, he is a very well. That is a good person to have out there starting every day. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, also like right now it seems to be like we're putting in Cole Young every single day or almost every single day to play at second base. So it looks like that's the decision we have gone on that route. And we're probably gonna so yeah, it looks like we're either DHing Polanco or we're putting in Raleigh on DH if Garber's catching. So it's a lot more consistency in the lineup, which I like to see. And overall, the offense, as I'm just way more confident in this lineup and offense going forward.
Yeah. Looking at the 1 through 6, it's just insane. It's crazy because when I think about the Mariners lineup, usually what I think is, the pitching staff is carrying the Mariners, and then the lineup is really bad. Hopefully we can score two or three in the process. That'd be nice. But right now, this Mariners lineup has the two best RBI leaders in Cal Raleigh and Gino Suarez. Cal Raleigh's the home run leader. Gino's not that far behind. We've got some power bats. Josh Naylor he's been getting on base a lot. He's been hitting a lot of doubles. He hit a home run with the Mariners earlier. He's been really good. JP Crawford is coming back a little bit more after getting sent down to the eighth spot. Randy Rosarena in the leadoff spot. He's been absolutely fantastic. This Mariners lineup is deep. It's the amount of 800 OPS bats that we have in the lineup, and OPS is on base plus slugging. We'll talk about stats actually a little bit further down the line, but the amount of players that we have that have 8 bases per 10 at bats or plate appearances, that's a lot. We have 7 right now, 7 or 8. And with Dom Canzone hitting against lefties, we don't have to send Dylan Moore out there to start. We have him in his usual spot on the bench and then ready to pinch run for a player to steal more bases. It's been splendid. This lineup, as you just said, it seems like everybody has a role in what they do, and they're not getting overexposed in a role that they're not supposed to be doing because we have the pieces. We have the right pieces to go and win more games.
Yeah, I like that we actually moved Randy to the top of the order, like you mentioned. It's not like Crawford, even when he was playing well, I feel like Randy is just playing so well right now. You need him to get as many at-bats as possible. So I think moving it up all the way to the top of the order, considering he used to be playing around like they were swapping him around like 5 or 4 or 6 or around there, but moving into the top of the line so he can get as many at-bats as possible with a bat as hot as Randy's, I feel like he's a good guy to have there in the top of the order. So yeah, overall, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the lineup so far. This is definitely a lineup that can do some damage. This is a lineup that I'm not like, oh God, I hope there's only 3 people that I have confidence it can hit. I'm pretty confident in basically almost everyone in this lineup that they're going to be able to produce. Honestly, I'm pretty confident in like the entire. There's no dead weight or people batting like below 200 in this lineup anymore, which is used to be the case a few years ago. So yeah. Do you have anything to add, or do you want to talk about the pitching?
Um, Actually, the stuff that I want to add is the pitching. So we're gonna just go straight to the pitching. Caleb Ferguson added to the bullpen. I love this guy. I love the strikeout guys. They're super fun to watch. You hear the horn all the time when Munoz gets a swing and miss strikeout, stuff like that. It gets the fans going. But Caleb Ferguson is the type of guy, this soft contact, average exit velocity of 80 miles an hour. That's crazy. You're, the average home run is like I'd say like 105, 110, right? Versus, the average base hit is going to be somewhere along the lines of 90. This guy's average exit velo is 80. The amount of weak ground balls that this guy can produce is just off the charts. He's been really good. He showed that today in his outing. Too bad the Mariners lost to the Rangers today, but yeah, Caleb Ferguson is an excellent ad. I really love his play style, and I think it's something that was missing in the Mariners, not just because he's a lefty, but because his play style is that he gets that weak ground ball, and he does that better than anybody else in this entire in all of baseball. He does it better than the entire MLB. So I am super happy with this ad.
Yeah, I mean, overall, just we definitely needed another lefty besides Gabe Spire because I mean, it's okay. I think it's okay that we don't have it. It's not like the not having lefties in the starting rotation is not as bad as not having lefties in the bullpen because for the starting rotation, you're going to start the best starters you have. You don't really care what hand they are. But on the relievers, you can choose who to put in, and at certain times you want a lefty in because it's going to be all lefties coming up, or they're against someone who cannot hit against lefties, right, which could force a switch. So it's a lot more strategic to have that in the bullpen. So getting another lefty arm in general is a plus. And Ferguson, he has been playing well in the times he has come out for the Mariners so far. So hopefully this can continue. And yeah, this would really improve. I feel like this has a chance to improve the bullpen, even though I feel like we could have made an additional move to get improve the bullpen even more. This move still does improve the bullpen nonetheless. It did not downgrade the bullpen. We didn't add someone and now the bullpen just got a lot worse.
I think in general the bullpen market was really expensive. For example, the Twins were dealing a lot of their bullpen arms. Duran went to the Phillies. He made his entrance with his entrance theme. It was actually pretty cool. I watched it on my MLB TV, not blacked out. It was awesome. But um, yeah, a lot of bullpen arms from the Twins. Griffin Jacks was dealt basically their entire bullpen, and they had to bring up 8 of their minor league guys. And so you would think that the Mariners would be able to cash in on the bullpen arms, but the problem was they were just way too expensive. The Twins were asking for so much for even their mid-level bullpen arms. It didn't make any sense to go and grab the bullpen arm at that cost. And so I think the Mariners made the right choice. Ferguson, Caleb Ferguson, just such a great ad. In my opinion, this is the ad that I don't know if the Mariners wanted, but the Mariners definitely needed. And so I am super happy with how the bullpen looks right now.
So yeah, so Julian, I have seen and heard that you did post an article recently talking about a new statistic that you have been developing and working on. So do you want to share any information on that?
Yeah. So it's called OPSS, on base plus slugging. That's OPS. And then smart stealing. So smart stealing, it's just another way to say stolen bases. It's the formula is it's OPS and then plus you've got stolen bases minus caught stealing minus the amount of bases gained before that caught stealing. And so basically it nullifies the entire at bat before the base is stolen. For example, if you have a single and then you reach second base on a stolen base, that's basically a double in OPSS. But if you try to reach second and then you get caught stealing at second, then that single is worthless. And so that single gets nullified. You have zero. Basically, it's a out. It's the same as a typical ground out or a fly out. It's the amount of bases gained in the amount of plate appearances by the batter, specifically with the added stolen base compartment. So I think this stat is a stat that's needed. I haven't seen very many stats that show stolen bases. This stat can just be a stolen bases stat by taking away the OPS part, just the last S part of the equation you put in, and then that's your stolen base count. And then you've got the OPSS part, which you add the whole OPS to that to create your basically your full picture of what this player looks like.
Okay, so what? So it's OPS plus stolen bases minus caught stealing minus the number of bases you got before the caught stealing, and then what?
And then you divide the stolen bases portion with the plate appearances. So
Hmm.
at bats and then the walks, basically the
Yeah.
amount of times the batter steps on the plate.
Okay. Okay. So I have a question. What would be, because with certain stats, there is like a threshold of average or like good. So OPS would be around like 700. OPS plus that exists, that's around 100, or no, 700 for OPS. And OPS plus, if you do use that, which counts for ballparks, that would be like 100. So does this stat have like a baseline like average per se? Like this is what you want to be striving for if you want to like, be doing good. Or is it very similar to OPS?
So it's actually very similar to OPS. The average OPS in the MLB is 711. It sounds like a convenience store, but it's 711. And then the average OPSS is 730. So it's pretty similar, but in players that have a drastic difference, it does bring that difference.
Okay, so if your OPS does not improve at all compared to your OPS, that means you're quite below average in terms of the stealing benefit to your team. And then if you score goes up a lot above the average, which is around point 0.2 then, or point oh 0.02, then you would be considered a more impactful stealer in terms of stolen bases and how much you're improving the team, right?
Yeah, so like if your stat goes up by zero point 0.1, that's already really good. For example, Victor Robles stats go up by zero point 0.1, which is 100 in MLB terms, right? And so his OPS, Victor Robles from 2024, and this was a really good year for Victor Robles, was a 814 OPS. His stats go up in OPSS to 916. And so the amount of steals that he had, even though he was caught stealing twice and gets subtracted 4 because of the 2 caught steals and then the 2 bases already reached for those caught steals, his 34 stolen bases already gives him that edge and gives him that plus 100.
Okay. Do you have any other comparisons?
Yeah, so I have Gino Suarez from 2025 because 2024 he wasn't very hot until like half the season was over, and then he became really hot in the other half. So 2025 I think is a good comparison. He's a power hitter. Gino's OPS at this point in 2025 is 891, which compared to Victor Robles is 814. That's significantly higher. But then when you look at the stolen bases, Gino hasn't been caught stealing, but he's only stolen 1 base. That's a 0.002 or 0.0002. And that
Mhm.
makes his OPSS 893. And so it's not different from the OPS. That's why the OPSS average doesn't significantly go up compared to the OPS average, is because players like Gino, you're not going to see that big of a difference because he doesn't steal many bases. But then Victor Robles, OPSS is 100 points higher. His OPSS, the total amount of bases gained in 2024, is actually higher than the average total amount of bases gained for Gino this year. Even though Gino Suarez has 36 home runs, he has a ton of doubles, stuff like that.
Okay, so yeah, this stat overall in my eyes, it seems like it counts and tries to account for the impact of stolen bases, which is a pretty big impact. Like, if you do get a single and you do steal a base, that is ineffectively a double, right? Because now you're in scoring position, so you just brought a lot more value to the team than just if you had alone the single. And it does give a good penalty for if you get caught, because then the statistic would be like, oh, okay, if you just try to steal as many bases as possible, your stat will go away more and there's no penalty. So the fact that you can lose points, if that makes sense, because you did get caught stealing, and it reverses the entire effect of the hit you are just gotten, which is in effect how it actually is in the MLB. So yeah, overall, it seems like the stat tries to be more or less what actually happened and the impact it made in the game. Because if you do get caught stealing, it is ineffectively an out.
So
Like you got out because you did not score, you did not produce any value, you were out.
yeah, exactly. And there's one little bit of a flaw on my end, not on the equations end, but on my end. It's that I don't have direct stats on which did players steal from this space when they were caught stealing, did players steal from this space. I don't have that. And so the actual caught stealing number might be a little bit different than the numbers that I have that I just mentioned. But that's the idea. This is the equation. I think the equation in itself is very good. The steals portion, the S portion, works on its own to show which players are the best at stealing, stuff like that. And then you've got OPSS, which shows, I think, the total value of a player, not just the power numbers. It's everything about that player combined. I think it's a stat that's been missing from MLB. And I think that once this stat gets integrated, it will make a massive impact on Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good. And yeah, do you have anything else to add about that?
Yeah. Check out OPSS. Check out my article. I'll put the link in the description. And so test it out with your favorite players. Like I have Ellie De La Cruz and Rafael Devers, a speedy player and a power player, in my article. If you type the equation into ChatGPT and then you search up somebody's stats, like 2024 stats for your favorite player, it'll show up. And so try it out. It's super awesome. I've had a lot of fun making this stat. If you guys have any suggestions about this stat, any like this might be a better way to frame this stat, let me know in the comments. But yeah, let me know. It's I've had a lot of fun with this, so thank you so much.
hmm Anything else to add, or we're gonna wrap it up?
Yep. Thank you everyone for watching. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful face on YouTube. Check out our Instagram for super awesome shorts. And as always, go Mariners.
Go Mariners.